Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Go Bigger podcast. I'm super excited for this episode because I have my friend Victor joining me, and he's going to be talking about how to be a six-figure financial advisor. And what makes this episode very special for me is the fact that just a few years ago, my friend was an engineer. He had a fantastic job. And now I'm seeing him grow into not just a CEO of his own company, but also a content creator. He's come way farther than when I met him. And so it is with a good amount of pleasure that I'm going to be bringing him onto the stage. And we're going to start basically digging deep into his story as a CEO, his financial story, and also how you can take whatever he's teaching tonight and turn it into a stream of income for yourself. Now, welcome to the stage. Hey, Victor.
I'm
Hey,
clapping for myself.
hello.
Yeah, thank you, Kwame. Thank you so much for the amazing introduction. Thank you.
Do you know what? I know that there are a lot of things that viewers are not going to know about your journey, but
Mhm.
personally, I remember, was it like 3 years ago that we were at your house, and you were
Yeah.
just starting this whole journey, and I'm comparing that person to this person, and you've changed. So I
I
wanted
know.
to take me back to that time. Like, how did this all start? Now you're the friend wearing suits online and content. I'm like, who's
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Okay. So, thank you very much, Kwame. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey so far. Especially being in a different field. I'm one of those new immigrants came into Canada in 2021 with my young family. And for me, it's always been a case of what next. And I think when I say this, I'm sure a lot of people that are new in Canada can relate. Coming to a country with your loads of experience from wherever you're coming from, maybe Nigeria, that's where I come from, or whatever that is, right? And that was it for me. I wasn't so certain of what I wanted to do in life. I had a lot of voices in my head, a lot of people speaking to me, go learn IT. You can go and still go further in your engineering or whatever it is. But I know that finance has always been something that has come to me naturally. So it's been something I've been excited about from when I was a kid. But I feel like if you know numbers, your parents always say go and study engineering. So I think that's how I found my way to engineering. But then coming here, I think what's put on that spark was I came in and I was so excited about purchasing a house. So back in Nigeria, I had a house, I sold it, and the goal was just plug and play, come in with all that money from Nigeria and come in here and buy a house. But I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't have any proper guidance. So I put all that money into what they call a tax-free savings account because I just saw it online. I saw a bit of things. I was like, okay, this sounds like a good idea. Let me put in my money in a place where I'm not going to pay tax on it. I didn't really do my proper research. And then I put it there. A couple months later, the bank calls me that, oh, you have a lot of money in your TFS and I can see you're a new immigrant. Come take it out. If not, you're going to be taxed 1% every month. Unfortunately, it's been there for 2 months already and the tax has been counting. So fast forward to the next year when I filed my tax, CRA wrote me a huge bill and said, you're owing a couple thousands of dollars. And that was a shocker. I think at that point, it started making sense to me that one of the first things you want to do when you come into a new country or even when you start a new job is understand finance because for a lot of us it's not taught in school. So I think that's what sparked my journey, and then here we are now.
Awesome. And what a tough way to learn that lesson. Like,
Yeah,
this is not your home country. This is
I
different.
know.
Like, these
I
guys
know.
are monitoring you very
Yes.
closely. Okay, but can I
Yes.
first of all ask you, like, the TFSC thing, can you explain it to me better for people? Like, what is it that they need to know? Because even I personally, I've heard a lot about, oh, if you know you want to secure your money, you don't want to pay taxes
Mhm.
on it, go to a TFSC and an RAS. What's that one?
RESP, RSP, yeah, those are some lovely sounding words that if you don't get in, you probably don't understand how it works, and it might come back to haunt you. So a TFSA is called a tax-free savings account. Now you will agree with me that when you earn income, you will always pay tax to the government through CRA. So, and interestingly, even when you invest in, say, stocks or bonds or mutual funds, ETFs, whatever it is you invest in, you're essentially going to make income. And when you make income, a part of that has to be paid as taxes to the government. So the government has come out to say, you know what, we're going to help to alleviate the tax burden on people. So they came up with an amazing concept called a tax-free savings account, saying that you are able to deposit a portion of your income into a tax-free savings account and invest it however you deem fit. Segregated funds, stocks, all of these amazing things that I mentioned. And whatever profit you make on top, we will not tax you. So when you come into the country as and you have say a work permit or a citizen or a permanent resident, your time starts counting. Or if you've been in the country from when you turn 18, your time typically starts counting. So I know for 2025 the limit, and that's why it always had a contribution room. 2025 contribution room was about $7,000. So every year your contribution room increases, and you should on no account contribute more than your contribution room. If you do that, you will be taxed 1% of the over contribution monthly. And that is a lot of money. Now, remember, I didn't say annually, I said monthly. So that's a lot of money. So if you are not sure what your contribution room is, just go to the left-hand side of your CRA portal. It's staring at you right there, TFSA contribution room, and you see it there. Make sure you don't over contribute.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
what would be the step two for someone who has already amassed enough to meet the room, but they still have more cash? What happens to that money?
Great. So if you have more cash, and that's why one of the people you want to talk to as to how to whatever it is you want to do with the more cash, because a lot of people are even confused on what to do with that more cash, is to have a conversation with a financial advisor. Now, off the top of my head, there's a lot of things you can do with that. That's if you have kids, you can invest towards an RESP, which is a registered educational savings plan. You just want to be putting some money aside monthly, bi-weekly, annually, however it is you deem fit, towards your child's post-secondary school education. And we can shed more light on that. There's also the first home savings account where you can start contributing towards your first home, and it's also a tax deductible. And even your RRSP, which is your registered retirement savings plan, you need to start saving towards your retirement, and that also helps you to cut your tax on the spot. And if you've, I have friends, I have people, I have clients that have actually maxed out on all of these amazing things. And that's where you can start thinking about having a non-registered investment. Or for people that like to invest in stocks and bonds and all of that, you can do that. But just bear in mind that there's going to be a tax implication. But that also brings into question the amazing idea of life insurance. And we have the cash value life insurance where you are able to buy life insurance and also invest there knowing that it takes tax deferred. So those are some amazing things that we can talk about. But I believe it's not a one cap fits all. So based on the clients, based on what's their goals and their needs, we can have conversations as to what makes sense and how they can put their money to generate good value.
That that sounds like a lot.
I
So can
know.
I ask you, like
Yes.
obviously hearing you speak, it's so clear that you're knowledgeable, you understand these means. Obviously, you've been born, so it makes sense that you now went to study.
Yeah, exactly.
But can
Come
you
back ready to understand, and I excited to help families now.
can you explain to the rest of us humans that are not from the finance world, like, okay, tell me, how did you get to this point of knowledge? Because obviously you got beaten by, this whole thing
Mhm.
you're not expecting. How did you go from that person to this person who is now telling me all these alphabets and things that I don't even
Yeah,
know about?
yeah, fantastic question coming. So, for me, I would say it was intentional because, for starters, I had a lofty career, if I do say so, back in Nigeria, and knowing that my family was going to be here and they are here for good, I wanted to make something of myself here, and I know that if you're consistent and intentional about something, you will succeed at it. It takes, tiny steps. Because when I started, I had no clue. I didn't even know what tax was about. Because, back home, they just take your money from the taxes. You don't need to know anything. There's no conversation about it, and that's good. But here, you have the wherewithal to do a lot of things. You can save on taxes. You can do a whole lot of things. And so, because of that, I had to learn. And it took me through a process. For starters, because for you to become a financial advisor in Canada and the US, right, you have to go through the licensing process, which is what I did. So I got registered for it, and big shout outs to my amazing friend Charles Dalton and Makinde, who got me into this, who introduced me into this other way of life, and then I got through the process, got my license. So right now, I'm a licensed financial advisor in the US and Canada, and because of that, there was some good information, good study materials, videos that I learned through the process, and I was also in teams where we share knowledge, understand things, and then going into the field, communicating with families, individuals, and businesses, getting some of the questions that they're asking, and going back to build on it, learning. Of course, that has been able to shape and build me into the Victor Eziyi that you see today.
Let me take some comments from the people watching right now, just to show you what people are saying. Basically, we have this comment from Tochukwu 7205, and he says, "Man like Victor." I love that comment. This is
Thank you,
basically
Toshiko.
testament to obviously who you are and how people appreciate you. And I just wanted to bring that up and just highlight that for you. Now, guys, if you're watching this and you have questions for Man Like Victor, please drop them in the comments. He's going to be taking them very shortly. But for now, let's continue with your story. Victor,
Mhm.
how rigorous was it to become a financial advisor?
I will say it's as rigorous as having to study and pass some exams. So there are interestingly four exams that you have to write, because to become a financial advisor, all you require is a license. So there's a difference between being a financial advisor and being a successful financial advisor, which, if you think about it, in whatever course that we did in school, you can come out with flying colors, you're a graduate. So they can call you a doctor or a lawyer. But for you to practice in that field and actually be successful at it, you have to be consistent and you need to be doing a good job. So, right off the bat, the easiest one is to get a license, and the license just requires you going through the process to write a couple of exams. Now, the exams are ethics and professional practice, which I believe that if you have to be a professional in any field in Canada or the US, you have to go through a course in ethics. So there's also the life insurance, which is, we just explains things about life insurance to you. Life insurance is not just the basic life insurance. There's a lot of interesting things you learn about life insurance, critical illness, disability insurance, lots of amazing things. And then you also learn about accident and sickness. Fantastic topic. And then the last of all is the segregated funds. So for me, I was able to, in the midst of all the things I was juggling, family, career, and all of that, I was able to complete all the study and write my exams in 3 weeks. And I've had folks that have done it in 2 weeks. I've had folks that have done it for longer. But you should be able to do it in a maximum of 9 months, which is a stretch. But yeah, so it's and also the exam is open book. So for folks that struggle with retaining a lot of things in their head, there you have it, open book. Do what you have to do, and the pass mark is only 60%. So the pass rate is pretty high. So I expect anybody that wants to get into this field to get it done in record time.
Sounds interesting, especially if it's open book. So, what are they testing if it's an open book? Is it just your ability to apply knowledge, or what exactly do you think they're looking for from people?
Most of the questions are actually scenario based questions.
Mm,
So you can imagine if it's an open book, yeah, they're not going to put in the scenarios in the open book, right? So the book is just a reference document. For example, if you've forgotten some acronyms or one or two terms, you can just make reference to that, and that should help you go ahead to ace your exam. So it's just basically a reference document, and I believe that sometimes it also makes the exams a lot easier for you. I know people that don't even make reference to that because they say, it wastes my time. I've done my study. I know what I have to do. I'm just going to go ahead, do my thing, and pass it.
Sounds awesome. Okay. So now we've gone to the point where you're a financial advisor. Like
Yeah.
how do people make money as an advisor? Like is it that you are selling stuff to people? How does it work?
Mhm. Okay. Great question. So I'll say this. First of all, in my practice as a financial advisor, licensed, like I said, in Canada and the US, I am independent, which means I don't have anyone I work for per se. Like I don't have an employer, right? Then so because of that, it gives me a lot of flexibility, right? I don't have to report a 9 to 5 to anyone. But then I am contracted with multiple financial institutions. So see it like an employee that works for banks, insurance companies, financial institutions, basically all of that. So when you meet me, I essentially act as an employee of all of these companies. Then it also just means that I have an aerial view of what all of these companies do and what they also offer. So it makes me quite versatile. Then it also puts me in a great position to offer my clients the best service from a wide array of service providers. Then, essentially, now to your question, how do I make money? When I offer any of these services, I get compensated by the company that I'm offering the services on their behalf,
Mm,
right? So just like a typical, a typical business, that's essentially the way it works. When I have these conversations with, and also I don't charge my clients because I stand in the gap between the financial institutions and the clients. So instead of them having a lot of employees, I am just there to help you do the transaction. So I set up the accounts, I do everything, and I also provide the financial education, which most institutions are not able to provide. I provide that and I set up these accounts and then I get paid from the back end by these financial institutions. Then also, I if you think about it, if you work in silo, if you work on your own, it makes it a lot difficult for you to earn income when you are not there. And that's why if you think about it, a lot of businesses that have only one branch, they can, it's easy for them to crumble because one hit and they're done. So I also like to coach other people, to train other people to also do exactly the same thing I'm doing because it means that they are going about, they're helping families, they're making money for themselves. And based on what I pour into them, the knowledge, the information, and the guidance, they also go making money. And then I can also make an override based on all the efforts that they do. And I can tell you it is positively compelling, with respect to what the money will look like. And just like your topic, how to make six figures as a financial advisor, I found out that it was so amazing. And sometimes, if I do say so, it's quite easy to make six figures because based on the quality of clients you're bringing in, sometimes it could be a shocker as to how the money. And I'm so excited that I also don't have to talk about charges with my clients. It makes the conversation a whole lot easier. Yeah.
obviously. So they already understand the money isn't coming to you. So
Yes.
like them buying a life insurance, for example, or
Yeah.
doing anything to secure their money doesn't mean that they're buying from you. They're not paying you.
Correct.
You're
They're not.
essentially giving them advice based on your expertise, and then
Correct.
you get compensated from the company. So it has nothing to do with them.
No, 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 it doesn't. The reason why you have to talk to me is that remember when I mentioned I am contracted to multiple companies. Now, if you have to go shopping yourself, it can be a bit difficult because you don't, especially when you don't have the experience. When you come to someone like me, I look at your peculiar situation. Are you married? Do you have kids? Do you own a business? Do you have any health concerns? And based on that, I'm able to take you to the company that I know will give you the best in terms of cost, in terms of quality, and all of that. And when I set up all of that for you, I hand it back to you. You have your login, you can manage it however you want. And I'm still at the back end to provide all the advisory that you require. And then the company that I brought the business to will compensate me based on that. And it helps them because they don't have to have 1,001 employees. They can use me to still offer the service that they offer. And then the money they could have paid the employee, they essentially will pay it to me.
It's interesting. I like
Yeah.
it. I like the fact that you are not. you're not compelled to sell because you are desperate for income, right? If this
Correct.
person takes your advice, great for them. If they don't, well, whatever
It
they,
is what it is.
it is what
Correct.
it is. You know,
Yeah.
I saw something on Instagram. This will be a year ago, thereabouts, where someone was saying it's not fair that a lot of new immigrants are coming in and people are advising them to buy life insurance. And essentially, she was coming at it from the point of view of, can you allow these people to even breathe before you sell life insurance to them? What do they need life insurance for? And I remember watching that, and I think we had a conversation behind the scenes about it, but I think it's something that needs to be addressed. That
Yeah.
why is it important for immigrants, especially because we're both immigrants? Why is it important for immigrants to have life insurance? And
Hmm.
I know that you're
Good
going
question.
to, yeah. So
No, I love the question, and I think it's a fantastic question. So this is how I address that question. For starters, I am very big on education. I'm more big on education than selling. Of course, education might not earn me money, but I feel like when you understand it for yourself, it makes sense to you and it's a lot easier for you to make that decision. So that's why even when a new immigrant comes into Canada, I'm excited to show you around. It's like a financial orientation for you. I show you around just so that you remember the mistake I made. If somebody said, "Oh, he's a new immigrant," let me not tell him about the TFSA, or let me tell him I potentially wouldn't have made the mistake. So I want you to understand where you are and know what you need to do. And it's okay if you are not interested. It's okay if you want to do it, but your finances are not in the best places and you want to think about it. It's okay, but you have the education. Now, why life insurance is one of the first things I believe a new immigrant should get is one, it is the bedrock of financial freedom and protection. The bedrock. The reason I say this is life insurance gives you the highest rate of return for anything that you have to do. You find out that the same immigrants already want to buy a house when they come to Canada. The same immigrants want to already start investing. They are excited what's going on here. But in all your buying and in all your investments, how many of them can give you $500,000 in by tomorrow if something happens to you? So for a lot of immigrants coming with their amazing families, your wife, your husbands, your children, and all of that. And think about it because there are lots of stories. You can check out the internet, lots of stories about new immigrants coming into the country, getting sick, and some of them losing their lives. Is that bad? But imagine that happens to a new immigrant who comes in, gets sick in a month, and then is gone, and already was smart enough to get a life insurance in their first week. Say buy $500,000 of life insurance, and it's not expensive. And remember, you're not under any. Nobody is taking a gun on your head and saying you cannot cancel it. If you decide at some point that this is not for you, you have other things. Of course, you can go. But I feel like that is the first step towards guaranteeing your family that standard of life I want to give you. That promise I've made to you guys coming to Canada, I will keep to my promise. And think about it: a 35-year-old male can purchase a $500,000 worth of life insurance for less than $45 a month. So it's not crazy expensive. So these conversations I think are very very key. But of course, education first, so that the clients won't be under any form of pressure.
I totally agree with you, and I want to share this like from my own perspective. I'm not a financial advisor, but one thing I have come to understand is life happens, and life
It
happens
does.
to everyone in
Yeah.
unpredictable ways sometimes. And
Oh, there's the car. The bus is gonna. Yeah.
I remember there was this family. I don't know them personally. I saw them online where, for some reason, the man had, died suddenly, and
Mm.
they were doing GoFundMe. People were, basically saying, please contribute to them because they're going to be destitute. The man was the breadwinner, and the woman had three kids and no source of income. And I remember looking at that story without knowing them and without knowing their circumstances, and I just felt really burden for them. Like, I wish that this had life insurance so that
I know.
regardless of anything else happening, their house is secure. They're not going to be in the streets. And I think that's what you're saying without drawing emphasis to how it happens. And do you know what? Now, my platform is very, very women friendly. And I always say to ladies, if your husband does not have life insurance, please help him, assist him to get life insurance. Because, Victor, there was something you shared with me that the rate of mortality for men or the age of mortality for men is a lot less than women. If you're married to somebody who is very close to your age, like, please, can you let him get life insurance? You're not trying to
Yeah,
kill him or urge him to die, but I mean, I think protection is very important.
correct, correct. Yeah,
Yes, I want to take a comment from the comment section, and this is basically saying, "Well said, Victor." Um,
thank you so much.
and you know what? I think that there are a lot of people who understand the importance, but maybe those people are the ones that have been in Canada and in the US for a while.
Mhm.
Can you give a message to people who are just coming in? I mean, I know there are some people that they say, oh, it's a scam and whatnot. Please, can you address those people who are just coming, who might watch this and be like, oh, I'm born into Canada. Where do they start from?
So this is the advice for those that are coming in. When you come into Canada, not just Canada, when you come into a new environment, there's a lot that has to be learned. Very, very important. And you don't want to hear it from naysayers or just from people on Reddit or on the internet. You want to talk to a professional. Very, very important. And the reason why I say you want to talk to a professional is because they have the experiences and they've met a lot of people. And I feel they will always be in the best position to give you the best advice. And if you're a bit uncertain, you talk to one professional, talk to another professional. That way you can, of course, you can compare notes and make sure that you're making the right choice. Now, talking about about insurance, I am very big on insurance because I know it works. I would advise that you get, even if it's the barest form of life insurance. There are life insurance that costs $20 a month. I don't think paying $20 a month is going to put a strain on your finances. So at least while you're still figuring things out, making sure that you're making the right choice, get the barest form of life insurance because life is fickle. It's like this.
Mm.
Anything can happen tomorrow. So you want to make sure that your family is very, very, very secured from the get-go. And not just for yourself, even for your wife too, because man, like I know that the mortality rate is higher for men, but it can happen either way. So everybody needs a life insurance. So it's very key. And study, understand some of these things before you come into a new country. Know how things work, and it goes without saying. Talk to a professional, and that's why that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm excited to come on this show, just to educate people. And if please feel free to reach out to me. I know Kome can drop some of my information on how you can reach out, be it via email, text, call, Instagram, a lot of areas and avenues you can reach out. And I'm happy to guide you through that journey to make sure that you're making the right decision about your finances at every point in time.
In fact, that brings us to something that is very important. Victor, you mentioned to me that you're going to be hosting a masterclass for people who are interested in becoming financial advisors. But I think it's also a good place for just anybody who is
Mhm.
interested in understanding a bit more about their finances. Can you tell us more about what the masterclass is going to look like? When is it happening? What plans do you have so that people can
Yeah.
put in their calendars?
Of course, thank you so much for that comment. So I am excited about taking people through the journey that I have, and I'm hoping that your journey will be a lot easier than mine, right? So I want to make sure that you understand how to create a career for yourself, and just like I said at the beginning, you don't have to already be in the finance industry. Whatever industry you've seen me moving from being an engineer to being a full-time financial advisor. So I'm excited to take you on that journey to become, to either earn an extra income on the side. Because the amazing part is that you can decide to do it part time, just like I did at the beginning. Started part time and saw the amazing career opportunity, and then move full time. That and that can also be something that you can look forward to. So I want to guide you on that part. And if your interest is just to understand finances, on how to set up some of these accounts, how to make sure you have an insurance, savings, and all of that, or just to have the education on the strategy, I'm happy to make that happen. I know Kome is going to be posting a link here. So please go in and just put in your information, your name, phone number, email, and I will reach out to you because I expect there's a masterclass underway being planned, and you get that in your email on the time and date. Today is Tuesday, so I expect that should happen hopefully before the end of the week, right? So you will have that in your email, and I'm happy to also communicate with anyone one on one just to get them up to speed with what they need to know on finances in the US and Canada. And also amazing that some of these concepts, like I had a webinar a couple weeks ago, and I had people from the UK, from all across Europe and even Nigeria dial in, and there's I feel like something in it for everybody. So it's in as much as I'm licensed in just US and Canada, the information you get is not limited to those areas too. So please, you do well to fill in your information, and we'll be in touch as to the masterclass information and how to get in touch one on one.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to take a comment from our comment section. It says, I believe there is something for everyone, irrespective of what
Correct.
you have. I think if there's
Correct.
anything you take away from this conversation, it should be that. And thank you so much for mentioning that. I
Thank you,
definitely
Sylvia.
that when, especially when it comes to financial conversations, people are always quick to discount the information until they need,
Yep.
until life happens, until something makes it important, then it's too late.
And I have one quote on that. I'd like to tell everyone that's listening to me today is the best time to invest, the best time to get a life insurance, the best time to start saving is when you don't need it. That's the best time. Because if you try to get it when you need it, you're already in a very big trouble. The idea behind getting all of these things is because you are planning for when you potentially will need it. I see a lot of people saying, I'm fine, I don't need a life insurance, but that's why you're getting it because you're fine, right? Oh, but oh, I have money now, but that's why you need to invest so that when you need it, you can draw from it. So yeah, so everybody needs, and the good thing is that there's something just like Cyril said, there's something for everybody. If even a child that was born today, there's something for them because the child is going to go to school. So the parents need to start planning towards putting aside something every month for the child's education. If you're old and retired, there's something there for you too. So and that's why I'm passionate about it, because everybody has something that they can learn about, something they can use. So yeah, thanks, Kome.
There's something that has been on my mind. I wasn't going to mention it, but it has been on my mind, and I just want you to address it because we've had that
Yeah.
conversation before about black tax. The fact that a lot of people feel like they don't have any extra money to invest or to save or to do life insurance because they have people back home depending on them. Can you please speak to that just a little bit as we start to round up?
I would say it all stems from planning. Planning is one of the most important things that you have to do. Planning, budgeting, and all of that. And when you fail to plan, essentially you plan to fail. I'm African, and I know black tax is something that will always apply to anyone that has loved ones back home that they care about. But one thing you need to understand is that everybody's going to be all right eventually. You don't want to nurture people into 100% depending on you. So you have to think about yourself, because you hear a lot of stories about people saying he's been abroad all the while. How come he didn't save? How come he didn't this? Just because you were thinking about the other person. So here's what I will say. Ensure that you have a proper plan. How much am I making? How much goes into my mortgage or my rent? How much goes into this? And it's okay to have that expense to say, I'm going to send this to mommy, daddy, brother, sister. It's fine to say that. But you should ensure that it doesn't encroach into the basic things that you have to do. And that's why, even if you are not making so much, that's why this opportunity is there, so that you can also expand your income. That way you are taking care of what matters most to you. And then also, as Africans, you also want to leave room just to make sure that some of the ones that depend on you and love you are good. But you also don't want to make people to get used to receiving handouts from you, because honestly it gets people a lot lazy, and then they start depending on you. And that's the entitlement mentality that a lot of people eventually have. You can see somebody doing good, making good money, but they always expect to get from you. So you want to discount that and make sure that you take care of yourself first, and also try to take care of our family as you have the provision to do that. But I believe that to an extent it should be secondary, but priority of course will be made to parents, especially those that cannot work anymore.
Exactly. Do you know what? There's so many people, and I remember someone very close to me telling me a story of how when they were little, their dad had taken care of all his siblings, his extended
Yeah,
family with all his money. He hadn't planned for them because he didn't have anything left over. And then so they grew up, and he said to me, he was like, and in fact, funny enough, there's so many people like that with that kind of story. And he said
yeah.
basically that when he grew up, he decided that it's going to be different. My
Hmm.
dad also has the same story. My dad was sharing with me, and he said one of the reasons, because he's a firstborn out of a very big family,
Yeah,
said one of the reasons why he had to disconnect was because he realized that he didn't want to make the same mistake as his
I
dad.
know, I
And
know.
so he had to, like, my family comes first. And sometimes if you don't have enough for everybody, you have to choose which side you're going to take care of. We have one last comment that I want to bring on from Cyril. Thank you, Cyril, for being so engaged tonight. He says if you don't send them, if you don't send anything to them, they will be fine. Some of them are living the life better than you abroad. Absolutely. In fact, I think this is a conversation for a whole episode. Just
Yeah.
the way people don't understand that living abroad does not mean that you're picking the money in the streets. Okay. Well, Victor, I want to say thank you because if we keep talking, we're going to be here for the whole.
Where is the link coming? The link that people are supposed to.
It's going to be in the description.
All right, sounds good.
People can click on it. If we put it in the chat, it will go off
Oh,
once.
okay, I see.
So I'll put it in the description. So just for anyone who is interested in having a deeper financial conversation, or you're interested in making six figures as a financial advisor, you're going to click the link somewhere in the description after this episode ends. And you're going to be able to sign up to Victor's mailing list. And on that mailing list, he's going to let you know when and where the next masterclass is going to be happening and take it from there. Okay, Victor, it's been such a pleasure having you here. I know that we probably will do this again soon, but I
Yes,
just
we should.
thank you.
Yes, we should. Thank you so much, Kome. I really appreciate you having me here too. And yeah, and Cyril, please do well to. I see you're really interested in it, so do well to register. And I look forward to further conversations with you. So thanks, Kome, and thanks everyone that has listened. And I'm excited about the next conversation that we're all gonna have. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, you heard it from Victor. He is one of my people. And I know that if you go with him, you're going to be in fantastic hands. And I can't wait to see the success that he continues to bring and the way he's helping people generally build and secure their own money. If you enjoyed this episode of Go Bigger, please leave a comment down below. Let us know how you found the conversation, any questions you have, and also share it with a friend. I'll see you the next time. Until then, bye, everyone.